Today we went to an amazing market. It's a local market and we are considering selling at this market next season. So it closes for 3 months over winter. And you know how you go to one of those markets and you just click? We found 2 amazing stalls. One with really well priced fruit trees, so we got a few more nut trees to add to our collection. We got a walnut, a self-fertile almond, and a fig tree, and a mackey berry tree. And then we found this amazing nursery with this very knowledgeable guy. And he had rare plants, medicinal plants, and basically has the most amazing food forest permaculture garden, which we are hoping to visit not this weekend, but next. And we got a few things from him as well, a few fruits to eat now, and one tree, another nut tree. It was a macadamia tree. But one of the fruits that I got was this. This is a black walnut. So I bought 10 of these. They were 50 cents each. I'm going to make a tincture, wherever you say that word, an infusion with 2 of these because they are great for parasites. So I'm hoping that we can use this for us and for our animals. And yes, I'm going to grow the rest of them today. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to prepare the tincture right now. These do stain, so I'm going to end up with brown hands, but that's okay, I don't mind. And you want to get freshly fallen nuts because they will go brown and soggy really, really quick. So basically I'm going to cut off this bit here that's gone a bit yuck. And I'm just going to cut this up and put it in my jar. This was used for many, many things back in the olden days when plants were prized for medicines. One of the things it was used for was hair dye. So down the track I'd love to use it for hair dye because I only use henna in my hair. So I think this would be quite valuable for me. There's one. Here's the second one. The rest are a bit too mushy, but they'll be perfect for planting. They're very high in iodine, so they're useful for wounds and cuts, heaps of skin conditions, a heap of other conditions too. I'll link an article that I read that was fantastic, was a fantastic wealth of knowledge. And you can see all the wonderful things it can be used for. But the main thing that I'm using this for is parasites and eventually hair dye and wound cleaner. So there is my black walnut shells. Next you want high proof spirits. Now this is a distilled spirit that hasn't been diluted from a friend of mine. And basically I'm just going to cover it up and push it in a bit, cover it up, and then whenever I remember I'm going to give it a shake because it's going to go black, so just be careful when you shake it. Look, it's already changed colour, it's gone yellow compared to white, so this is going to get very dark. So when you do shake it, just make sure your jar doesn't spill because you don't want to stain everything. And that's an easy way to make the tincture, and I'm going to show you once it's ready what it's like and how I'm going to use it. So this is a bit of the flesh that I could get out, and now it's time to try it. Trying some black walnut. It tastes like doesn't taste like walnut, kind of tastes like alcohol. It's not as fleshy meaty as a walnut. It's much softer. It's a pleasant taste. But it's very fragrant. Almost musky. I quite liked it. I enjoyed it. I probably couldn't eat a whole lot of them, but as a small snack, I quite enjoyed them. Paul didn't like them at all. So we are growing these for their medicinal uses. We weren't growing them as a nut source or a food source, although I'd probably crack a few open to eat them each year. They are very tedious and hard work to get the flesh out. So they are not, I wouldn't say they would be a suitable food source, but as a medicinal source, highly valuable. So I highly recommend them for that. If you have the space, throw in a few black walnuts. So we're planting a mackey berry here. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it is a superfood, and so we're adding it to our food forest. It's not very forest-like at the moment, but we're hoping in time we can transform this space. We're going to plant our fig here. We have another fig, but it's a green fig. This one is a black one. So we're going to plant that here in between the rows of trees in our food forest. At the market there was a food swap. So we took our excess produce and we swapped it for a few things. We got an avocado, we got some seeds, and we got some Jerusalem artichokes. And we're going to plant these in the food forest as an understory plant. And then underneath them I'm going to plant some wild thyme that we bought from a stall there. Each plant was 50 cents, so we got a few of them to add into the food forest as a ground cover. So these are mini swales that we made for each tree, and we're going to plant 3 in each mound next to the swale. So hopefully the swale will catch all the water that runs off from our hill. So you can see we're on quite an incline. So these are designed to catch the water runoff and feed the trees. And I hope to plant the Jerusalem artichoke, sweet potato and potatoes in the mounds above the swales. And they will act as an understory plant. And now I'm going to plant some of these wild thymes around some of the trees. Here we're going to plant Chilean guavas. They are similar to a feijoa, but they're smaller. And they're red, and apparently birds don't eat them. Well, would like to see it to believe it, but we're going to give them a go. We've got 3 of them. I got these from the Diggers Club the other day, and they grow really well from cuttings. In fact, one of the branches broke in transit, so I've planted that, and I'm hoping it will take and it'll grow roots, and that I can plant it somewhere else. Unfortunately, my sound didn't work, but here we are planting our nut trees. Here we have our walnut tree. This is the second walnut tree that we're putting in the ground, and the lady said that we should have fruit in 5 years. And now our second self-fertile almond tree. This is my pine nut tree, and I was growing this in a pot in suburbia, knowing that I wanted to move this to our homestead one day. And now for our black walnuts. This is how the man described for us to plant them. Literally just drop them down. But because we're on a bit of a slope, we don't want them to roll away, so we're going to dig a hole and plant them. Here we have our macadamia tree. Now, I always thought it was too cold to grow macadamias in Victoria, but apparently I'm wrong. There are, though, 2 types of macadamia trees. One that's from Queensland and one from the mountains of New South Wales. If you are in a cooler area like we are, it is recommended that you grow the ones from New South Wales. they are actually an understory tree. So they should do well here, being protected by the windbreak we have in place. We have Tagasaskis, and we've got their pine trees as well to protect them from the winds that we receive. But because they're from the mountains of New South Wales, they should be able to cope with our climate here okay.